know who else lost? Sabrina. Sabrina lost, but you know what? I don't have no sorrow for Sabrina nor Stephen, because I told y'all from the very beginning that this was not going to work, that Sabrina was selfish. She was self-centered. Everything was going to be about her. And I already told you that Stephen was not going to make no sacrifices for Sabrina, because Stephen already told us who he was when he left that woman with cancer. He already told us he was not going to make no sacrifices for no woman. And Sabrina went off here thinking that this man is going to fold his complete life into mine. I'm going to start this new business in Belfast, and he's going to support me. She said she fell in love and quit her job. Girl, you quit your job before you fell in love. Sabrina, stop lying over here. You quit your job before you fell in love. Okay? So don't act like you quit your job for Stephen. No, you quit your job first, fell in love, and then you asked Stephen to support you. Probably not only support you emotionally, she probably wanted a little support financially until she could get her business off the ground. And Stephen, as I told you, he's turning out to be a 2.0 Tom. I told you Stephen was not going to turn his life around for no Sabrina. But she was so hungry to have a man fold into her life, she bought a hook, line, and sinker. And she came up here talking about we was going to split our time between Belfast and London. No, that's not what Stephen said. Stephen never said that, Sabrina, so I don't know who you talking to. Stephen always said he wasn't leaving London and that y'all was going to spend the first couple of years in London. But Sabrina over here talking about, no, we're going to split our time in between London and Belfast for a year. Girl, no, that wasn't the game plan. These two was never on the same page. I said it from the very beginning. What were they talking about in the pods? Nothing. All they were doing was living it up. Just like Stephen said, it was Wonderland. Everything was paid for. Dates were curated. We were in picturesque places. Stephen was over here for the free food, the free vacations. Come to find out, his gym was going under. His clients had left him. He was broke. And here Sabrina is thinking she's going to be quitting her job and he's going to be supporting her financially and he's going to move to Belfast. Girl, talk about delusion. Delusion. She said over the time, you never even came to Belfast. She said she came to London 7 times and he came to Belfast only twice. But then later on, she told Stephen, you haven't even seen me for 8 months, which means if it's been a year since the weddings, there was only 4 months where they even tried to work it out. So this relationship fell apart in 4 months, y'all. 4 months. And in that 4 months, Sabrina is saying she came to London 7 times and he only came to Belfast 2 times. Well, that's 6 times in 4 months. So that would mean they're coming at least seeing each other a couple of times a month. What was Sabrina expecting? You know what Sabrina was expecting? She wasn't expecting a long distance relationship. Sabrina was expecting Stephen to leave London and basically live in Belfast with her. That's what she was expecting. Because if you are apart for 4 months, but you've seen each other, what? Her 7, his once or twice, that's 9 times. That seems like a long distance relationship. But that's not what Sabrina signed up for. Sabrina wanted a man who was going to quit his job, move to Belfast, live with her, let her do her career. A man that didn't want kids, okay? All these things she wanted for herself. Girl, Sabrina is sounding like a Tom, a 2.0. 2.0. She wants 50-50. She wants 50-50. This girl was on the petty train. She said, you came to London, I rented a car for you to go to the gym. She said, I don't even drink tea and coffee. I bought you a French press. Girl, you getting real petty. The one that told me she was on the petty train, first class on the petty train was when she said, first class on the petty train when she said, you wanted an iron board and I bought you an iron board. Girl, you are petty. You was about as bad as Tom over here and Tosh talking about, I'm not sharing my popcorn at no movie theater. She a 50-50 girl. She keeping track of everything. She want to make sure that she's not giving more to the relationship than she's getting out of it. Like I said, this was a bad nudge from the beginning. Tom's lip was on the floor. His mouth was wide open because he couldn't believe how hard Sabrina was coming at him. I can believe it. I can believe how hard she was coming at him. You know, Sabrina want to walk around and talk about how in all her past relationships, remember, she was treated so horribly. She probably was treated horribly because don't nobody want to be in a relationship with no woman who's counting up everything she does for you. Who wants to be with a person who keeps a tally? I bought you an ironing board. Then I went and bought you some starch. God damn, you running a tab on me? She said 2 days before Christmas, you didn't want to come to Belfast for Christmas with me. Well, why didn't you take your ass to London? What? I don't get this, Sabrina. Why didn't you take your butt to London if you wanted to spend Christmas? 2 days, that ain't far. That ain't bad. You can get to London. You can get to London. You can get to London in 2 days. Stephen said, I couldn't come. Money was tight. Money was low. I couldn't get there. My business, my clients was gone. Sabrina's like, I don't care nothing about that. I don't care nothing about that. I need you where I need you to be, doing what I need you to do regardless. Sabrina don't give a damn about no one else but herself. And Stephen was over here lying to her, soaking up. Like I said, he was lying just like I told you when he did that thing with that woman with cancer. He said when the real world came into view, he was like with Sabrina, I didn't really like it. I only liked it when we was at fancy places, eating fancy dinners. I didn't have to pay for nothing, living in fancy apartments, having sex every day and in picturesque places. But once we got to the part where you got to pay bills, you got to be accountable to each other, you got to be responsible for each other. He was like, that shit wasn't fun. Sabrina said the real world changed him. Girl, no, the real world did not change Stephen. The real world exposed him. He didn't change Sabrina. He was that person before. You just didn't see it. The real world exposed him. It didn't change him. Those are two different things. And she said to him, you know what? You a man of many words, but you're not a man of your word. Woo! Anybody ain't going to be a man of their word with Sabrina because according to Sabrina, you got to do everything she wants you to do. So ain't nobody going to be a man of their word. That's why she didn't like none of the men she was with, because Sabrina judges you based on how well you comply with what she wants of you. If you don't comply with what Sabrina wants, then you're going to be a horrible person. Because she sat up there and talked about Stephen like a dog. Rough. But you know who's out of the doghouse? Jasmine and Bobby. Jasmine and Bobby are not in the doghouse, and Bobby ain't in that doghouse with that mama. That mama says she 110% love Bobby. I know she does. I know she does because her daughter wants Bobby. And if she want to be in that mama, if she want to be in that daughter's life, she better keep faking it until she makes it. Even if she don't like him. Even if she don't like him, she better keep faking it until she makes it. Because let me tell you, talk about being the villain of the show. That mama has been a villain of the show. And she came on this reunion tightened up. She came on this reunion tightened up the way she should be. That's right, mama. Keep it together. Keep it together because we don't want to hear nothing from you. Nothing. Keep faking it until you make it. I was really happy to see these two together. I was happy to see that they made it. It was just so good to see them gelling together. Bobby's like he moved right away to London. It seems like he quit that cruise ship job. Thank you. I knew that was the only thing he was going to have to do, and he quit it with quickness. He quit it with a quickness. I love it, Bobby. I absolutely love it. He said he's seen that firecracker Jasmine side, but he says, you know what? I like the fight in her. I like the fight in her because what Jasmine is going to do is Jasmine's also going to fight for this marriage. You need a woman with a little fight in her. That means she's going to fight for the marriage too. So it looks like Jasmine is keeping it under control just enough. And Bobby has such a capacity for Jasmine that is working out really well. I love it. They're planning a family. They look like they are working on having babies. To be honest with you, Jasmine looked a little bit like she could be with child right now. And I ain't gonna lie, Jasmine was glowing and she had the look of pregnancy already, but early on in the pregnancy. So maybe it's not true, but she looked like, them breasts of Jasmine's was sitting up like it was producing some milk. I ain't gonna lie, them breasts were perking up like it was producing milk already. But who knows? That's just me. She looked beautiful. She was glowing. I guess that's what happens when you got a man that loves you and is taking care of you. So happy for them. So happy for them. But another person still not happy is Maria. Still not happy. And Maria spent this whole time trying to villainize Tom for not wanting a life with the life Maria grew up. Maria, I told y'all Maria doesn't know cornerstones of marriages. And I don't know why she's still putting down Tom for not wanting the life she wants. Nothing's wrong with that, of him not wanting the life, Maria. And just because he says he wants to raise daughters who he wants to go out into the world and not rely upon the man to pay her bills, doesn't mean he's insulting your family. Just like I say, hey, I'm the type of woman that would want to work. I like going to work every day. Doesn't mean that I am villainizing or I'm putting down or insulting stay-at-home moms. That's not what I'm saying. There's values in both people, but I'm saying, what is my preference for my life? What Tom is saying is the preference for him is that he wants to raise girls, maybe the next president of the United States. Maybe he wants to raise the next president of the United States. What's wrong with him saying that? That's a woman who likes to go out and work. That's a woman who may not necessarily depend on a man to pay her bills. That doesn't mean that he's insulting all the women at home. Now, don't get me wrong. I knew who Tom was from the very beginning. Tom is not a giver. He's not a giver. And that's okay. But what I didn't like was that Maria was trying to put him down so much for it. That part I didn't like. I was very aware who Tom was. What I didn't like about Tom was he didn't realize who he was, and instead the reason why he was with Maria was because he wanted to receive from Maria. That's what I didn't like about Tom. I don't have a problem with a person saying they want to be 50-50. That's fine. Then go find you a 50-50 person. Tom need to run over there and get with Sabrina, or Tom need to run over there and get with Tosh. Either one of them. What I didn't like about Tom is that he's a 50-50 person, but he went after a woman who didn't want 50-50, because what he wanted from Maria was he wanted to receive from Maria. And Maria, in a lot of ways, made Tom believe that she was a different woman. If Maria had shown from the very beginning who she really was, Tom would have never chosen her. See, but Maria hid who she was, and then when Tom told her, I don't like who you are, you're a makeup artist, you're not career oriented, or you don't have a high-powered career, you're not into higher education, academia, and you also want to be a stay-at-home mom. But those aren't the things he values. He said, I grew up with a single mom who worked and went to work every day, and I really never saw a man taking care of a woman. So maybe that's the reason I've come to conclusions where I am, why I don't want that for my life. But that doesn't mean I'm putting you down, Maria. But Maria made this whole thing personal, to be about her and her whole family. Girl, Tom didn't say nothing about your family. He talked about what he wanted for his life and what he wanted for his children, and it didn't line up with what you wanted for your life and what you wanted for your children. She tried to villainize Tom. I didn't really like that. She should have just said, you know what? I should have told Tom more who I was from the beginning, and then Tom would have never chosen me. Instead of not telling Tom who she was, and then once Tom rejected her, being mad. Nah, Maria, that's on you, girl. That's on you. Tom was very apologetic. He said he showed some very ugly behavior. She said that there was some words he wished he could have taken back, but I'm telling you, he might want to take back the way he said things, but he's not taking away the mindset. Tom is who he is. And every woman just needs to know who he is. There's a woman for Tom out there. There's absolutely a woman. It's just not Maria. And Tom is not the man for Maria. Maria, go find the man you say you want. Just be honest with that man up front, so you don't keep attracting men based on one thing, but they really don't want the life you want. Be honest. Be honest up front. Like I said, the truth hurts. But let me tell you, it's better to tell the truth in the beginning, because then you can save yourself from the heartache on the back end. Maria wasn't truthful. Demi wasn't truthful. These people weren't truthful from the beginning. Sabrina wasn't truthful. And because they weren't truthful with themselves and didn't know who they are, they picked wrong partners. They picked wrong partners. Know thyself. Be honest with thyself. That way you can present yourself truthfully, and don't be afraid of rejection. Rejection just means that the man is able to reject you because you're showing up authentically, and he's telling you that who you are authentically is not who I want. Because if you fake it till you make it, once he finds out who you are, he's still going to reject you. Stephen rejected Sabrina, okay? Tom rejected Maria. Ali rejected Demi, because these ladies were not showing up authentically who they were. They really weren't. And these men were here to get something from these women because the women weren't truthful. Stephen was there to receive from Sabrina because Sabrina started acting like she's this woman that was willing to be compromised and fold into Stephen's life. No, she wasn't. Once he found out she wasn't willing to fold into his life, he dropped her. He dropped her. Ollie was not interested in Demi. Once Tom figured out who the real Maria was, he dropped her too. This is the story. This is the story. But we still got a happy ending from Benaiah and Nicole, and it looks good, y'all. I'm happy for them. It looks good. It seems as if Benaiah says, I'm hippifying Nicole just a little bit. They are getting along swimmingly. And I like these two together. They are doing a wonderful, wonderful job. Remember, the only part that I said what they would have to do is that Benaiah was going to have to step up a little bit. He was going to have to step up a little bit. And you know what never ever happened on this show? The production team never asked Benaiah, what's he doing for a living now? They were respectful of this marriage. They protected this marriage, and it's really what they should have done. So now that you know you have a couple that's together, they're happily married, what's the point of digging in so deep that you create a rift in this couple? So I respect the production team for not really going in on these questions with Benaiah and Nicole, because you know what? Whatever it is, it is. They left alone the fact that we still don't know what Benaiah does. Has Benaiah really gotten a real job? Is he back in London? Sounds like it. Is he working? Is he building log cabins in the middle of the city of London? They didn't even go into it because that was our concern. Could Benaiah stop being a nomad? We didn't even get an answer to it. So the most important question they never asked it. You know why they didn't ask it? They didn't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. The other thing that they didn't want to touch. I know a lot of you want to believe that Sam was lying about Nicole wanting to sleep with him, but it wasn't a lie. I don't believe it. But I think what they did was out of the respect of the marriage between Nicole and Benaiah, they didn't bring it up. But you know who brought it up? Nicole. Production wasn't going to ask or call Sam to the carpet and say, Sam, why did you lie and say that Nicole wanted to sleep with you when it wasn't the truth? You know why production didn't bring it up? They didn't ask the question because they know it happened. They know it happened and they weren't going to bring it up because why would you bring that up to a married woman with a married man and they're happily married? Now, if they were apart, if Benaiah and Nicole hadn't made it, they absolutely would have brought it up, but they're not going to touch it. So they didn't bring it up in the question. It wasn't on no cue cards for those hosts and hostesses. But you know who brought it up? Nicole did. And you know why she brought it up? She brought it up because when it was brought up in the actual television show, she never did deny it, not only to Sam when he said it to her face, she didn't deny it even to Benaiah. And I'm quite sure that affected Benaiah because Benaiah really wants to know, did his wife want to sleep with this man? And Nicole's a married woman now. And so what she said was, I'm going to bring it up and I'm going to say, yeah, when you were trying, and so Nicole brought up and said to Sam, yeah, when you were trying to say you slept with me, that was hurtful. And she said, oh yeah, and a lie. Girl, you should have led with a lie. If someone lied on me like that, I would have been like, that was a lie. Not only would I said it was a lie when he said it to my face, I would have said it was a lie when he said it to my husband, and I would have said it a lie here. First off, I said, no, that was a lie. I would have said that was a lie and it was hurtful, but I want to start with the hurt because what she was starting with was which was the real emotion, which was it was hurtful that he revealed it. And then after he said it, and he said, yeah, okay. He never said, yeah, I lied. He apologized. He apologized because he shouldn't have said it. He shouldn't have revealed it. And when he apologized, she looked over at she looked over at her husband, Benaiah, and said, see? Girl, I'm going to give Sam a few points. He saved a married woman, which he should. He saved a married woman and he realized, I've been villainized so badly. I've been villainized so badly out here. What good would it be for me to tell Nicole to her face right now, it wasn't a lie? You made the right choice, Sam. You just went ahead and took the bullet, which is what you should do. Because you've been villainized so bad, rightfully so, that there's no reason for you to sit here now and further put down a married woman in front of her husband, Production company already didn't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. They were never going to ask the question or bring it up. But Nicole had to bring it up. The reason why Nicole had to bring it up, because it's been a lingering thing in the relationship with Baya. She had to make sure her husband believed the story that no, she didn't do that. But I'm pretty sure she did it. You know how else I know she did it? Because what Demi and Ollie told us, what Ollie said on the Jessie Wu interview, was that in between the I do's and the meeting in Greece, they don't actually see each other. So that means there was a concerted effort for Nicole to see Sam. That's when I think it happened. No one else was seeing each other. They met each other in the pods, and the next time they were meeting was in Greece. But we know from what Nicole said, she made a concerted effort to meet up with old boy Sam. And I believe that's when all that went down. Because what she wanted to do was she needed to get her physical validation affirmation. But I'm going to leave it alone. She's a married woman. No need for me to keep going on about it. It worked out the way it worked out. And it worked out the way it should work out. And she's happy. And I'm happy because I like to see, I like when love wins. And these two honestly look very, very much in love. And they look very, very, very happy together. Knew it wouldn't. And Catherine came on here trying to save a little bit of face herself. She wanted to make sure that she said she took accountability for what went on in this relationship. And she agreed that their lifestyles are different. She stopped trying to play as if that wasn't her lifestyle. Because we already know that Catherine lives at home with her mom and dad. So she spends all her money on going out. She spent all her money on going out. She at home not paying no bills, and every bit of money she makes, she spends it on going out. She said, you know what? Yep, I was a little bit snappy, and she's working on it. She said she's learning some things from Jasmine. She's learning some things from lots of different people. She said she's going to go away and become a better person because she got villainized out on these streets too, or rightfully so. They confronted Freddie on why you buy those earrings, why you buy that wreath for Catherine's grave when you buried her with your no. He was like, well, I did it because I didn't want to look bad, and it seemed like it will be frowned upon. Let me tell you, Freddie knows all the right things to do. Even if he didn't really feel the sentiment behind those earrings, he was going to send some flowers. You know, when you can't show up to a funeral, somebody said, well, let me at least send some flowers. He said, I ain't going to marry this girl, but let me at least get her some earrings. I'm sure we'll probably see Freddie or maybe even Kat on some other show. Love Island, Love Match. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they showed up on another show. They seem like, of the people on this show, they seem like some people maybe you could move forward and put them on another show. Who knows? Maybe they're even queuing up Demi to be on another show. I don't know. Because like I said, that was a rigged fight. That fight was fixed. But anyway, that's it, y'all. Let me know what you think about the reunion. How'd you like it? Drop down in the comments. Talk to you later. Bye.